Chapter 49 Wild Goose Chase. For both the Dr. Roberts, the queasiness of traveling by dimensional portal was becoming less with every jump. Dr. Robert No. 1 had no idea what the long-term effects of portaling were on the human body. Barnaby had only been saved from it by the nanotech. The same nanotech had already been infused into Sebastian to fight his life-threatening disease. And even though Graham and Bouncer looked to be human, they were, to all intents and purposes, no more than the Land Rover and four-wheeler they were when they were manufactured. It was only Dr. Robert that would end up suffering any ill effects. "Dellie, what are the long-term effects of all this dimension jumping?" asked Dr. Robert No. 1. "Why do you ask, Doctor? Are you feeling okay?" replied Dellie. Yes, replied Dr. Robert No. 1, casting a glance at his doppelganger from Earth No. 2. "We feel fine, but as the only non-enhanced people here, we think that it is only a matter of time." "I appreciate your concern," replied Dellie reassuringly. "But I think you are both safe, as long as you steer clear of the solarium jumps." At that moment Dellie created a portal to Earth No. 37, stepped to one side, and with a wave of his hand offered Dr. Robert. "After you, Doctor." Looking at the shimmering blue portal, Dr. Robert No. 1 glanced to himself for support before stepping through. "Yes, thank you, Dellie." Seconds later the whole team had joined them as they took in the scene. "The Farview, it's gone," stated Dr. Robert No. 2. "It can't be. Without that they have no way back, surely," stated Sebastian. "Sebastian is correct," replied Dellie. "They don't have the capability to navigate dimensions without one of these devices anchoring them somewhere. It must be here, hidden somewhere. I'd wager, and it must still be turned on." "Aren't we assuming that they jumped from here?" asked Sebastian. "Surely they're on to us by now." Knowing that the Farview had to be turned on allowed Dr. Robert to scan the area for it. "Well, if that is the case, all we'll be wasting is a few minutes." "It wasn't the case. It's over here," shouted Dr. Robert, moving to the hidden nook where Bouncer had secreted the Farviewer. "I'm not sure if that is good or bad, Doctor," said Sebastian. "Why do you say that?" asked Dr. Robert. "Well, either they have no idea we are chasing them, or they simply don't care," stated Sebastian. Dellie didn't enjoy these debates at all. All they proved was that Sebastian was, typically, incredulous of any facts he was presented with unless it had been him that had established them. "Why don't we just see where they went, then we can get back on their trail?" Dr. Robert had simply ignored Sebastian's one-sided debate and not waited for a reply. Looking up toward the group he stated, "Earth No. 1. The last LLET and time stamp would indicate a jump to Earth No. 1. It looks like they've gone back to Sepulchre HQ, and there is no change in actual location for the last 3 jumps." "Okay, looks like we're doing a 180 then," said Dellie. "All aboard, everyone. Next stop, London, Earth No. 1. Arriving back on Earth No. 1 at the LET, the group was still unaware of why Bouncer and Graham had come back here at all. "If they were here, they must have tripped across some security feeds," stated Barnaby. "I suggest we do some good old-fashioned legwork and start working on the problem, rather than guessing." With a course of action identified, the group headed to the Sepulchre security suite. Cameras covered every entrance into Sepulchre HQ. They had to be hidden in the data, somewhere.